Hey everyone, it's Chris from Platform 9. Today I'm here to take you through Private Cloud Director and some of the very basic administrative features that people find useful when moving from VMware. I'm just going to sign in. I'm going to use our default domain. After signing through, I'm going to dive into our cluster blueprint. This is where an administrator goes to configure things like VMHA, automated resource rebalancing, which is a replacement feature for DRS, as well as network configurations, external storage configurations, and more. So here I'm in our overview dashboard. I'm going to click on infrastructure and cluster blueprint. As I touched on, when you come to the cluster blueprint, you're able to enable and disable features and configure features that are really core to the fundamental operations of your private cloud that is running Private Cloud Director. Here we can see VMHA. I can turn this on and off dynamically. And importantly, automatic resource rebalancing. This feature works in a very similar way to VMware DRS, where we either try to even out the number of VMs that are running across all of your hypervisor nodes, or consolidate those VM workloads onto as few hosts as possible. Scrolling down, we're able to see our network configuration, enabling features like distributed virtual routing and virtual networking. Further down here, I can see our host network configurations. This could either be a homogeneous configuration, or if you have a heterogeneous fleet of hypervisor nodes, different ESXi types that have been running out there from maybe different hardware vendors or different generations, you're able to actually configure bespoke network configurations for each specific node in your environment and then apply that out. Very useful if you are running different generations of hardware. Next, we're able to see that we can configure multiple different external storage vendors. The logos you see here are just examples of some of the vendors we support. Things like IBM and Dell EMC are also supported. You can see right now there's one set up for Ceph. If I wanted to add an additional external storage configuration, I just click Add Volume Type and select a new configuration and choose a driver that is available inside of Private Cloud Director. To continue down, the last two settings here that we're able to see is our image library, and that's where our VM images are stored to be used when we deploy a new virtual machine. And finally, if we are deploying ephemeral types of virtual machines that are running just on the nodes themselves, the physical nodes, not using external storage, where are those VMs stored? And that's it. If I've made any changes or I'm doing this for the first time, you just click Save Blueprint. To then administer our nodes within our environment, would come here to our cluster hosts. Here you can see I have one offline and one online, and the aggregate utilization of resources across both those hosts. If I want to make any change to that host's configurations, I'm able to come in here and click Edit Role and make changes. Maybe I want to add a persistent storage configuration. I simply click that there and click Update Role Assignment, and I'm done. That hypervisor will now receive that new configuration, and new VMs deployed to that node will be able to use that external persistent storage. Lastly, I want to touch on things like allocation ratios. It's important to maximize the value of your hardware investments for your virtualized environments and private clouds. With Private Cloud Director, you can come and update those ratios at any time. They can actually be done in two places. First, they can be done here, directly node by node. That allows you, if you are running a heterogeneous environment, to have different allocation ratios per hypervisor node. Or if you are operating those nodes in groups, what we call a host aggregate, you're actually able to apply a set of allocation ratios to a number of nodes together. Now, host aggregates are actually useful for a few different things, and let's spend some time talking about that now. So, one of them is you can use your host aggregate to set your CPU and RAM allocation ratios. Another great use of host aggregates, as I click in here and click Edit, is actually applying different sets of metadata. This metadata can be used to do affinity and anti-affinity, or importantly, grouping all of your Windows or maybe Oracle database VMs onto a set of hypervisor nodes to limit the scope of your OS licensing or database licensing requirements. This is something that's very popular in the world of VMware, and it's something that's supported out of the box with Private Cloud Director. I could simply say OS, put in here a value of Windows, and update that host aggregate. now that's applied. When someone attempts to deploy a Windows VM, it's only going to go and run on this host or that set of hosts. And that's it. Thank you for your time. That's a quick introduction into administrating Private Cloud Director, cluster blueprints, and using host aggregates. If you would like to know more, head to platform9.com. Thanks and bye.